Good morning, friends. Uh, my name is Prashant Kumar, and I am working as a biology faculty in Drona Vyas Expoi Private Limited. Today, I am going to discuss something on cell biology, and the topic which is present in IGCSE curriculum is organization of organization of the living organisms. So, first of all, we will discuss about what is cell, what are the types of cells, and what are the cell organelle which is present in the cells and their vital functions. Okay, so first we will start with the topic organization of living organisms. Okay, so first thing which comes in our mind that the basic unit of living organisms or living thing is cell. But how we will define this? What is cell? Sometimes we say that it is the basic structural and functional unit of life, but beside of this, we can say on the basis of the structural organization that cell is a mass of a protoplasm, and it is covered with a boundary which is called plasma membrane. So instead of saying this, we can write that cell is the basic, it is basic structural and functional unit of life. We can say also this, that it is a mass of protoplasm. Protoplasm is the liquid which is present inside the cell. Suppose this is a cell, okay, then there is a liquid which is present inside it, okay. That liquid is your protoplasm, and the outer membrane which is covering it or protecting it, that is called plasma membrane. So we can say that it is a mass of a protoplasm bounded by plasma membrane. Okay, so if we see inside what is present there, so we will find that inside a cell you have a distinct nucleus which is always present, and this is your nucleus. This nucleus contains a liquid which is called nucleoplasm. There is a fluid which is present inside. This fluid is called nucleoplasm. Okay, then we have one more type of fluid which is present in the boundary of nucleus and the boundary of the cell membrane. That's blue dotted line you can see here, blue dots. This fluid is called cytoplasm. Clear? So together we say that cytoplasm and nucleoplasm collectively called as protoplasm. So protoplasm is nothing, is just a fluid which is present in the cell, which may include cytoplasm and the nucleoplasm. Clear? That is the basic thing we have to know about the cell. If a cell is there, then they have a nucleus. Then the liquid which is present in the nucleus is called nucleoplasm, and the fluid which is present in between, the plasma membrane, this is your plasma membrane, and this nucleus, and this membrane of the nucleus is called nuclear membrane. We write it as a nuclear membrane. Okay, so and the fluid which is present in between the plasma membrane and the nuclear membrane, that fluid is called cytoplasm. Okay, this is the first thing we have to know. Now we will move on to the scientist who has play a major role in finding these things. We will see some contribution of the scientist who has done some remarkable work in this field. So let us first know about some scientist important contribution of some scientist. So many scientists are there who has discovered so many things in cells, but here in our curriculum we have to focus very less of the scientist who has done a very remarkable job in this field. So first is Robert Hooke. What he has done, his main contribution was he has used the term cell. Used the term cell first time. Second scientist who has done a remarkable job in this is Leeuwenhoek. What he has done, he has discovered the simple microscope. Why it is called a remarkable remarkable discovery at that time? Because cells are already small. So if you want to see that cell, then you have to develop a such type of instrument which can see them. So at that time it was a very huge discovery, and today we are grateful from him that he has given such things by which we can see the cell. Third is your Robert Brown. Robert Brown. He has discovered nucleus. Later on we will see what is present in the nucleus. Fourth scientist, his name is Sladen, who has given the discovered the plant tissue, or you can say it given the cell theory. And one more scientist was there called Swan. Sladen and Swan, both scientists has given a remarkable discovery in the field of giving the cell theory. Cell theory will tell what is the basic fundamental part of the cell. So that was the given by Sladen and Swan. Sladen has given for plant tissue and Swan has given for animal tissue. Here now next we have Purkinje. He has discovered the term protoplasm. And the last scientist who has discovered this, Rudolf Virchow, Virchow. He has given the complete explanation of the cell theory. Complete explanation of cell theory. Okay, so in the detail we will see what is cell theory. There are certain fundamental points are given by these scientists, so we have to see in that points. Okay, now next part is what are the things present in the cell, mean on the basis of whether it's a living thing or whether it's a non-living thing. that means the component of the cell. So I'm going to make a table, and on that basis we will see further in the structure that how the fundamental parts of the cells are arranged in the cell. Okay, now so we can write here that parts of cell. So we have two type of part, living part and the non-living part. So first we will see what are the living part of the cell, living component, and here we will see non-living component. Or non-living part of the cell. Okay, so the living part of the cell is of two parts are living. First is your cell membrane, and the second thing is your protoplasm. As we know that protoplasm contain two things. Let us see what are these two. Cytoplasm and nucleoplasm, or you can say fluid which is present in plasma in the nucleus. Okay, now cytoplasm contains cell organelle. It contains cell organelle such as examples like mitochondria, then chloroplast, ribosome. Okay, these all are called cell organelle. Now same like that, your nucleus contain first nuclear membrane, second nucleolus, third is the nucleoplasm, and chromatin fiber. Chromatin fiber, we can say chromosome also. Okay, so these are the living component of the cell. Beside, we have a non-living part of the cell also, that is your cell wall. That is the main thing which is a dead in nature. So cell wall is made up of cellulose, which is a dead in nature. It is made up of cellulose. Now we will see types of cells and what are the cellular components present in plant cell and the animal cell. Then we will discuss something on the cell organelle. Let us move to the next part of the topic, plant cell and the animal cell. Here you are going to see the animal cell. This is the animal cell. So we have two types of cell. First we are going to deal animal cell, and the second is your plant cell. Okay, we can see that an animal cell contain a distinct nucleus. You can see in this diagram that nucleus is there, and nucleus contain the small pores. You can see here, these are the pores. These are small pores through which exchange of material happens between the nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm. Then we have a nucleolus, which is act as a nuclear organelle. Next we have the fluid which is present in the nucleus, that is called nucleoplasm, and the nuclear membrane, and collectively it calls nucleus. Then we have rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is expanding from the nuclear membrane to the outermost layer, that is plasma membrane. Then we have smooth endoplasmic reticulum, In further we will study what are the difference between these two. Then we have a cell membrane. Then outside cell membrane there is a cilium, also called cilia, then a ribosome, then lysosome, which act as a suicidal bag for the cell. Why we call it suicidal bag we will see further. Then we have a centriole, a pair of centriole. One pair is called centrosome, which helps in cell division. We will see what are the role there. Next is centrosome. That's one pair of the centriole is called centrosome. Next we have peroxisome. You can see this green body. This is your peroxisome. Next we have a Golgi body. The Golgi bodies are like stalk-like structure, plate-like structure, which contains some digestive enzymes, which helps in the formation of lysosomes. Okay, then just below to that we have secretory vesicles, the vesicles which are secreted by the Golgi body, which forms further lysosomes and other cell organelle. Then at last we have mitochondria, which act as a powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of cell. Now same like that we will see animal cell. So as we see that animal cell is again plant cell is consist of a rough covering that is called cell wall. You can see here it is made up of cellulose always. Then we have a plasmodesmata. Plasmodema is a point through which it is connected with another cell. Okay, now same like that, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, then nuclear membrane, and your nuclear pore will mix the complete nucleus. Here you can see that one difference is there, that nucleus is shifted at one side of the cell, but in the animal cell it was centrally located. Then as like animal cell, they have rough endoplasmic reticulum also and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Ribosome is also present. Chloroplast is present, which do photosynthesis. That is the main process of a plant. Then we have a cytoplasm. Then we have lysosomes, which act as a suicidal bag. Then mitochondria is present for respiration. Then we have vacuoles. Here the plant have so many role of vacuoles here. It may act as a storage house. It may be act as a storehouse for the waste material. It may be the food vacuole. It may be the air vacuole. It may be the food vacuole which contains glycogen, starch as a food, like that. Then it has mitochondria. Then Golgi body is also there, like that. Okay. Now in the detail we will study one by one about the cell organelle which is present in the cell. So till now we have come to know that this plant cell and the animal cells both have some similarities. So let us see what are the difference between the plant cell and the animal cell. That is the main part we have to check. At least we should know the differences. What are the differences between them? So have some difference. Difference between animal cell and plant cell. Okay. So animal cells, the outermost boundary of the cell here is your cell membrane, or you can say plasma membrane. So plasma membrane is here working as a outermost layer for the animal cell. So we can write here outermost layer. Outermost layer is plasma membrane, or we can write cell membrane. Here outermost membrane is cell wall. which is a dead in nature. Second thing we can write, it is living in nature. We are talking about the plasma membrane. And here cell wall is dead in nature. Okay. Third difference we can say that animal cell not contain chloroplast. So we can write here that chloroplast is absent. Negative, absent. Here chloroplast is present. Next, we can see that animal cell has a small vacuole, whereas plant cell contains large vacuole. One more difference we can find here, that the nucleus of the animal cell is centrally located, whereas in plant cell it is located aside of the layer or near to the cell wall. So we can say that nucleus is centrally located, whereas in plant cell nucleus is near to the cell wall. So nucleus is near to one of the side of cell wall. So these are the differences. We have so many differences, but till now at least we know some basic one, so that we can easily find out the differences. Now next we are going to study about the cell organelle. So first organelle which we are going to study is your mitochondria. So we have started from the first, that is your cell organelle, that is your mitochondria. You can see in the right hand side I have drawn a picture, I have placed a picture. You can see that mitochondria is your double membranous cell organelle, and the outer membrane is called outer mitochondrial membrane, and the inner membrane is called inner mitochondrial membrane, as you can see it in this picture. Then again it contains a fluid which is called matrix. You can see here, this is the inner membrane, this is the outer membrane, then there is a matrix, then there is a gap between the two membrane, inner and outer membrane. That gap is called intermembrane space. Then there is an inward folding. If suppose the structure is like this, this is your outer membrane, this is your inner membrane, so inner membrane is folded like this. Okay, and this inner membrane also contain a circular thing that is called like this, oxysome, like this. So like that it is entirely present. This is called oxysome. This is your Christie. Okay, and mitochondria also contain the DNA, and DNA of the each, I mean if mitochondrial DNA we can say. And why beside having a main DNA segment which is present in the DNA, sorry, present in the nucleus, a cell organelle also have a DNA. What is the function of that and how it came? So the answer is, long year back mitochondria was not a part of a cell, but during the formation of the eukaryotic cell, or the during the symbiotic relation between the cells, it may be happen at that time that that mitochondria, which was acting as a bacteria, it have some bacterial nature, they get integrated into the eukaryotic cells and they got a dwelling place, and beside this mitochondria is giving energy to the cell. So that is the story behind that, how it get integrated. So if you will see the structural organization of the cell of this mitochondria, so we can say that structural organization, we can say that it is elongated. We can say it's elongated. See the length, it's a big one. It's elongated, maybe spherical, and rod shape also, rod shape organelle. Second, we can say about this that each mitochondria is bonded with two membrane. Two membrane system is present. Two membrane system. Like mitochondria, there is one more cell organelle which is present in plant cell, and they have a two membrane system. And the example is chloroplast. Same like that, here mitochondria has two membrane system. Now you can see that the outer one is smooth because the outermost have no oxysomes, because the inner membrane is folded and that folded part contain oxysome. So we can say one more point here, that outer membrane is smooth, and inner membrane is folded into finger like thing. See the finger like things, finger like projection, and this finger like projection is called cristae. Okay, and this cristae contains oxysomes where respiration process occurs, where the energy is formed. Okay, now so we can write about the function, that what are the major function of the uh, mitochondria is functions. So very main and the vital function of this organelle has to produce the energy, and energy is always present in the form of ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the cell, which is called adenosine triphosphate. It is a nucleotide which contains 3 phosphate and one nitrogenous base. Now the second main function is that it acts as a storehouse for the energy. So we can say it is a powerhouse. So first function is, it is a site for cellular respiration. Okay, that's why it's called powerhouse of the cell. Okay, second function is that it helps in oxidation of food. And store the energy in the form of ATP. ATP is your energy currency, and the full form of this ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That is A, then 1 phosphate, 2 phosphate, and the 3 phosphate. This is your triphosphate, and this is your adenine. Okay, further we will study what is ATP and other part. Okay, so the next cell organelle which we are going to see here is the chloroplast. Also we can say plastids. Plastid. Plastid is a green organelle. Why it's called green organelle? because they provide oxygen to the nature and makes the nature green. So if you will see the plastid, plastid is a large cytoplasmic organelle. It is the largest cell organelle, like mitochondria. So plastids are major organelle that is found in the plant cell and algae. And the main function of plastid is to manufacture and store some important chemical compound which is used by the cell, such as it also contains some pigments which used in photosynthesis, and it also provide the pigment which gives the color. Okay, so we can say that its main function, it is working as a kitchen of the cell. Kitchen of the cell, we say this through the chloroplast. Okay, and the main function of the plastid is to produce the important chemical. Two type of important chemical is produced. So it produces a pigment that helps in that is a chlorophyll, and helps in photosynthesis. Same like other pigment, there is also called color pigment, and the main function of this is provide color to the plant. Like some leaf are yellow in color, some leaf are red in color. So this red, green, yellow and other colors are due to the color pigment which is produced by the plastid. So it provides color. So here you can see here that plastid is of two types, that is leucoplast, three types, chromoplast and the chloroplast, and these all are developed from the proplastid. Okay, so in plant, plastid may differentiate into any three of the form. So we can say that differentiation of plastid is in three form. Maybe first is your chloroplast, which are doing photosynthesis. Next we have chromoplast, which is other than green color. Leucoplast is a colorless. Each plastid has its function. Like, have you seen the early leaf? They are red in color. As it grows, then the color of the leaf changes into green. So we can say that plastid can differentiate into any of the form. That is maybe leucoplast, maybe chloroplast, and maybe chromoplast. So any form they can take. Next we have to see what are the function of the chloroplast. So let's see what is the function. So this is the chloroplast we are seeing here, and the chloroplast is again a dual membrane. They have a two membrane, outer membrane, inner membrane. Then there is the structure is somehow like this. I will show you. This is your double membranous, and there is a plate like structure. They are arranged pile up like this, and like this so many are there. Then there is a fluid which is present here. That fluid is called stroma. This is your outer membrane, this is your inner membrane, and this single plate is called thylakoid, and the entire collection of the thylakoid is called granum. Clear? Now the structure is clear. Now we will see what is the function. So the main function, as we know that the main function of chloroplast to prepare food functions. Okay, so chloroplast carries this photosynthesis and produces food. Chloroplast carry out photosynthesis and produces starch and oxygen. Second function is chromoplast. Chromoplast gives color to flower and fruit. Flower and fruit. Leucoplast store food. It acts as a storage house and it store food in the form of starch and also contain oil drops. Okay, now next we will see about the ribosomes that act as a protein synthesis site where protein is synthesized. So this is your lysosome, sorry, ribosome. So third cell organelle here which we are going to study is a ribosome. We can see that ribosome is consist of two subunits, that is the larger unit here and the smaller unit, and both combines to form a complete ribosome. But inside the cell, both large and smaller subunit are not assembled like this. They get assembled whenever protein formation is required. Okay, so we can say that it is a small cell organelle which is found in the cell. Small cell organelle found in cell. Okay. Next we can say that it is the spherical dense particle that is scattered in the cytoplasm and it may attach to the endoplasmic reticulum. It may be freely present in the cytoplasm or it may attach with endoplasmic reticulum. May attached with endoplasmic reticulum, ER. Next is it is composed of, now each subunit is made up of, this is your made up of protein plus rRNA. This rRNA is your ribosomal RNA, which is a non-genetic RNA. RNA is of, again it's a genetic material, but a cell may contain non-genetic RNA which is not acting as a genetic material. We have so many examples which act as a non-genetic RNA like rRNA, ribosomal RNA, mRNA, messenger RNA, tRNA, transfer RNA, like that. So these are the examples which are non-genetic RNA. Okay. Now the only function of this, so we can add one more point, composed of protein and rRNA. Function, the main function of ribosome is to do protein synthesis. The main function of ribosome is to do protein synthesis. Now next we will see lysosome. You can see here in the diagram. Next is lysosome. L-Y-S-O, lysosome. Lysosome is called suicidal bag. Why it's called suicidal bag? Because it contains some digestive enzymes which digest the other cell organelle which is not in used. So sometimes it is also called suicidal bag. These are the lysosomes. So lysosomes are a teeny membrane bounded vesicles which is found in animal cell and very few in plant cell. So we can say that generally found in animal cell and less found in plant cell. Next we can say about it that it could be spherical or irregular in shape. Shape may varies. Okay, so they don't have any defined shape in the cell, so it's have variable shape. But we have found that they generally show spherical shape. If it is a spherical, I mean generally it is in the form of spherical shape, but sometimes it shows variable shape also. Clear? Now next, why it called digestive bag? Because it contains digestive enzymes. So we can say that it contains digestive enzymes and it is formed by endoplasmic reticulum or Golgi body. So who has formed the lysosome? It is formed by Golgi body and endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now we'll see what are the main function of the lysosomes. So first, the main function of the lysosome is that it is mainly associated with intracellular digestion. That means it helps in digestion. First, digestion of food. Second thing, it kills bacteria. Next is it also digests worn out cells and the cells organelle. Also digest the cell organelle which are not functional, which is not doing any work, they are dead, so they also digest that. So also digest old worn out cells organelle. Okay. Fourth function, it acts as a suicidal bag because during starvation it starts killing the nearby cell organelle. During starvation they start digesting the nearby cell organelle. That's why it is called suicidal bag. So it has a good role also and the bad role also. Good role, it helps in digestion. Bad role, it may kills the essential cell organelle, so it may be dangerous. Now next cell organelle which we have here is the vacuole. You can see that central vacuole, it's a very large in size and only found in the plant cell. So next cell organelle we have here is vacuole. So we can say that it is a very small spherical oval shape. About the shape of the vacuole is it is small, very small, maybe large. Size may varies, spherical and oval shape. Okay, so it contains the fluid which is present in the vacuole, and the fluid is called tonoplast. Okay, Now, second thing, vacuoles might store food and the variety of nutrients for the cell during the need of survival. So it also act as storehouse. Okay, so storehouse for food, storehouse for air, storehouse for waste material which is not in used, like that. Animal cells normally have the small size of vacuole. So animal cell have small vacuole, whereas in plant cell large vacuoles are present. Clear? Now, the main function of this vacuole is to store the food material. Okay, so the main function here is, first function of the vacuole is to act as a storehouse for the cell. Like in our home, we always has a storeroom just to keep some unnecessary things which is not regularly used. So vacuole also contain food which is used in starvation. Next function is provide turgidity and rigidity to the plant cell. That is the main function. Second, provide turgidity and rigidity to the cell, to plant cell. These are the two main functions of the vacuole. Next we will see centriole. As you can see here, the centriole is helps in cell division. So the next cell organelle here we have is centriole. You can see that it is only found in animal cell. Only found in animal cell. Second thing, that it is a small area of cytoplasm and it always present near to the nucleus. Always present near nucleus. That is the second more exact position where you can find this. And it is absent in plant cell. That is again a main part, absent in plant cell. Next we have, it contains two granules, two parts. So each part is called centriole. Means pair of centriole. Pair of centriole. And the main function of it, you can see here the structure of the centriole is like a cylindrical layer. Cylindrical structure. Okay, and the main function of the centriole is to helps in cell division. First is cell division, and the second main function here is that during cell division they form spindle fiber and help in the proper segregation of the chromosomes. So we can say that it produces estrol ray. Estrol ray, and they helps in segregation of chromosomes. Next we have here Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is like a sac-like structure, Golgi body. You can see that it is present in the form of a three major structure you can find here. That first is a series of flattened sac which is acting as a cisternae. So this is your cisternae. Then we have large rounded sac called vacuoles. So these are the vacuoles. Then vesicles. This vesicles further forms uh, lysosome, other secondary vesicles, and then further it forms many types of lysosomes. Okay. Now, second thing we can say about it, that in animal cell a distinct structure is present just below to the nucleus, and structure is always like this. They are plate like structure. Each plate is called cisternae. They have vacuoles and vesicles. In plant cells they are scattered in the cytoplasm, and in plant cell it is called dictyosome. So the name is different here. In plant, Golgi body is called dictyosome. Dictyosomes, dictyosomes. And they are constantly forming from, and it is formed by ER. Formed by ER, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and the main function of this Golgi body is to store, condenses, and package of the material synthesized by the endoplasmic reticulum. So that means its main function is whatever thing is formed by the ER, that is stored and synthesized by ER. Okay. Second function, act as a secretory organ. It helps in secretion. It can secrete protein, secretion of many things like protein, lipids, enzymes, hormone, everything. Okay. Next we have to move. Next cell organelle here we have is the endoplasmic reticulum. ER, endoplasmic reticulum. You can see that if suppose this is a cell boundary and this is the nucleus, so endoplasmic reticulum comes like this. Okay, and it touches the nuclear membrane and again get folded like this, and they forms like this. Now this is your endoplasmic reticulum. If our endoplasmic reticulum contains ribosome on the surface, they are called rough endoplasmic reticulum. So these are called RER. Now these area are not having ribosome, so they are called SER. This green part is your ribosome. So we can classify ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum on the basis of presence and absence of ribosome. If ribosome is present, they are called rough endoplasmic reticulum. If it is absent, they are called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And the main thing is that SCR and RER are sometime also connected. So we can write a main point on this, that SCR and RER are interconnected. RER continues with the nuclear membrane further, and SCR is near to the plasma membrane and the Golgi complex. Okay, and the main function of this endoplasmic reticulum is to produce chemicals which is stored in the Golgi body and further forms lysosome. So we can say that SCR synthesize lipid and steroids, whereas RER helps in transport of protein which is synthesized inside it, and further it goes to the Golgi body, and then Golgi body forms vesicles which forms lysosome. Like that the things go on. So this is till now for the cell. Thank you.